Yeah. Press on. One of the people here, ambling about, assembling forth, legioning up, sounding off, pursuing happiness with my life and my liberty. And for God's sakes, I'm exercising my right not to be in my person. Now we got some gang activity right here. It looks like a trooper has somebody, he's searching him. I'm not sure if he put him in cuffs or not. No, he didn't. Looks like he's completed the search. It looks like one of the people, and not a person from my vantage point right now. Now these troopers have a very bad track record with me, but we'll see what. Oh, he's letting him light a cigarette, so that's good. I'm gonna get a pretty good vantage point here. So I don't know what he pulled him over for, but hopefully we'll find out. I'm gonna actually set the camera up right here. And then okay, yeah. Now we can get a steady view of what's going on while I light this cigarette. And so, all right, now the cigarette's lit. And I guess I'll go and see if maybe his headlights are right. He's got a front license plate. Looks like his headlights are right. Maybe he was just parked over here. It's hard to say. I mean, because there's not really anything right here. He's in between HEB and Taco Bell. So maybe he was hanging out. It's a good sign that he's letting him smoke a cigarette. Maybe he'll talk to me afterwards. It's hard to say. So this is Texas Department of Public Safety, car number or license plate number 07646, and it's 11:24 p.m. on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2019, and the extortion is never ending. I'm gonna make some ground up before he tells me not to get any closer. Maybe I can hear what's going on. He's putting gloves on. Looks like he's gonna do some sort of search. What cause he has is beyond me. Right now he's just looking. Oh, he's looking in a backpack. Found a little baseball bat. Oh, and a knife in the driver's side window. Or the driver's side door. Oh. He just opened up a flashlight. It looks like a flashlight from here. He was gonna look under the seat, but he took off his hat in order to do it, and then I don't know, maybe he didn't want to be on camera. I have seen this trooper before. So he just opened up a bottle of Advil. Not sure what that is.
Yeah, it's in a big pocket.
So I'm not sure what was in that little bottle. He took one bottle of something or other, but I don't think it was weed though. I think it was pills of some sort. I think this guy admitted to having something. So now he's going to continue his search into the center console. Now he's going to look under the driver's side seat. Not a very thorough search of it, but okay, just remove the keys. Surprised there's no backup yet. He just sniffed a baggie of something and threw it back down. Searching the behind the driver's side seat. There was a bag of something. When you're filming like this, it's important not to try and question.
I don't mind you recording, but make sure you don't interfere, okay?
Save your orders. You were doing good until you had to. You just can't resist the urge, can you?
No,
you don't have any authority over the people, so you know. Until I do something, I don't need any warnings. Like, you know, don't kick your dog, don't beat your wife, stuff like that. Keep it to yourself, trooper. We were doing so good until that. almost 10 minutes and he didn't say a word. You know, I wasn't bothering him, I wasn't interfering, certainly not. I was just actually saying, you know, when you're filming like this, not to interfere and don't try and interact with somebody, even if they seem like they're willing to talk or like answer a question. You know, resist the urge, don't ask them anything. Obviously you can't stop somebody from talking to you, but I thought he said Ron Paul too. So apparently this trooper knows who Ron Paul, the senator, is from Kentucky, but he was talking about a Ron Paul.
No, I got an old boss that I worked for assaulted me in the parking lot of my old apartment. Boss? Yeah.
Wow. That's not good, man.
Do I move that Disney thing out?
He's particularly concerned about his Disney thing for some reason. Wants it in the back seat. Maybe if he goes in the car, I'll try and talk to him. You feel like telling me what he stopped you for?
I fucked up and pulled out in front of him.
Oh, without a signal or something, or?
No, I pulled out. I didn't see that their light was green, and I pulled out too fast.
I see. Did you give him consent to search? You did?
There was an odor with the car.
There was, oh, an odor? So you didn't give him consent, he just...
No, I did. I gave him consent. I know the law that I can tell him no, but then I'd have to sit through all the trouble of him calling a canine out, and their canines alert when they want them to, you know, so...
Is that what he took, was weed? He took both, he took two things. Oh, was one a pipe?
No, it was, I'd rather not say right now.
I mean, okay. It's alright. You don't have to tell me anything you don't want to. You're being very cooperative with him.
Hopefully I don't go to jail.
Right? If that's all you had was weed, I would dearly love to see you leave here, you know? Did he tell you his name?
No.
No? Oh, Georgetown Pd is going to try and back up the troopers.
Yep, I'm going to jail. Okay, in a second.
They're here for me. Because I'm filming, they're probably... Oh, now we got another one over here creeping up. Officer George, how are you doing tonight?
Can you do me a favor? Can you just step?
Oh, no
just a couple
thanks.
steps back?
I'm not breaking any laws.
You're right now. You're way too close. So
I'm not breaking any laws.
I'm asking.
I
you
got
to
here
step
without
back.
breaking a law.
Can you just step back
no,
right there by that
I'm
tree?
not going to.
You're not going to? Okay.
Are you going to arrest me? Whoa. Now you're going a little bit too far, George. Because I'm not breaking any laws here and this parking lot isn't closed down. So just take it easy, all right? I backed up to de-escalate, but you're getting a little bit too frisky, George. Maybe you should call a lieutenant out here or a sergeant or something.
Right there. I'll have it done.
Who is it? Sergeant who? Sergeant who?
We'll let you know.
Is it Sergeant Roby? Alright, this is part 2 of this guy's pulled over. Officer George is trying to get a little bit too frisky. He's got a bad attitude and he thinks he's somebody. Are you a sergeant? Weston! How are you doing, Sergeant? Oh, I'm very glad to see you.
How you doing today?
Wonderful. Officer George is a little bit out of control. He was very threatened. I know you didn't see it, so please don't back him up without, you know, I mean, I know he's your brother and stuff, but nevertheless, you didn't see it, okay? And, you know, I've been here for 15 minutes already, right? And he hasn't had a problem. I'm not interfering, you know. I know I'm good, but he told me to move, right? And I said no, you know. And then he made a movement to me like he was going to arrest me or something, you know.
That wouldn't happen.
Well, you have to understand for a second, Sergeant, that the perspective is different from my point of view, right?
Gotcha.
You guys have guns,
Okay.
okay? And, you know, even something that might seem like a trivial movement, non-threatening to somebody else, is very threatening to me.
Gotcha.
Right? And, you know, I think he needs to be clued in a little bit to the First Amendment, because I got here without breaking any laws. Right? Now, if that officer had said stop at any time, I feel like that's a legitimate order. He can tell me to stop, right, and move no closer. But once I'm there and I've secured that spot, which I'd like to retake it right now because I feel like I was threatened out of it. I'm not going to go any closer than this. Yeah, and I was never going to do that, but this seems like a safe place. And the trooper, who I've seen before, you know, was professional about it. You know what I mean? But George wants to get here and tell me to move. Now, I mean, I know that it's like a gut reaction just to give an order. Right, but we've had such a professional relationship, and you know, when I see a sergeant like you, and I wonder, how is that guy under you? Is he under you?
Everybody's learning.
Is he under you?
Oh yeah.
He is. I've met him before. He has a bad attitude, a very bad attitude. In fact, I've met a lot of your guys, and a lot of them have a bad attitude.
Well, I only got a few.
I will say, ever
4.
since I got on you guys switched to night shift, I've had a much better view of your team. And not just your team, but everybody under Lieutenant White and Roby is a disgrace. Absolute thugs, gang members. I understand that they're not on your squad, but I'm saying there is a huge contrast between you, between Lieutenant Rayleigh, between Sergeant Lanier and their team, you know, and this new nighttime crew. This new nighttime crew is out of control.
I can't say most of them, they're not mine.
Well, some of them are. I mean, I've met so many officers, I can't even remember who's on your team, but you say you only have 4. Who is under you?
I got a female. I got Officer Ryan, who's on injured reserve right now.
Ryan is okay.
He's injured right now. So he's
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope he's...
Officer Seuss, young lady.
Seuss?
You dealt with her.
I might have met her.
You've probably seen her, but she doesn't work this district. She works further up north.
Okay.
So, and I got Officer, I don't have Kaminsky. And Officer Jones, the other black officer.
He's black?
You probably haven't met him.
All right, you know what? I'm going to take it back. And I really have not had too much experience with your officers. Officer Ryan, we've had at least 30-minute conversation, and he turned out he's a pretty cool guy.
He's a good kid.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He didn't want to answer at first as to what requires somebody to identify themselves. You know, 3802, right? I mean, you know, right? You have to be arrested, lawfully arrested. Okay. I mean, I'm so glad you're here, because I thought I was going to see Sergeant Roby, and I'm like, this guy,
not working tonight.
you know, Sergeant Roby, I don't know. I mean, obviously you're on equal ground. You're both sergeants, so he's not under you or anything. But I mean, I just don't understand sometimes how we get officers like you and Rayleigh and Lanier, and then we have other officers that are just the complete opposite. right? It's like I don't understand the rules. You know what I mean?
I can't say. I came from a different place. Yeah,
You did.
And I'm older too.
From
so
where?
I came from a different. I was a Michigan cop.
Oh, Michigan, Detroit. So you're like, there's no crime
You
out
remember?
here.
You
Just
remember?
take it easy. I've never been to Detroit. You guys have a lot of
He's got
backpack. Are you guys really going to arrest this guy?
I don't know. This is all the troopers did.
Why do you
I
have
no
3
idea.
GPD here, though?
Oh, he's a trainee, so that's why he's
FTO,
Young
he's-
man. He's FTO with a trainee.
Oh, yeah, I've met him before. What's his name?
Which one?
The one that's training?
You know George. Is the one
Yeah,
that's
George is
FTO.
the tall one. Oh, there's 2 of them over there.
And that is Officer Tejeda.
Tejeda, I've met
I
him
think you've
too.
met him before.
Well, I'm trying to remember what he did. Oh, yeah, he didn't want to identify. He refused. I had to chase him down on the highway, and I wasn't happy about that, Tejeda.
He's got
Well,
less than a
he
year on
needs
his
to
belt.
know
He's
that
learning.
he is required to identify
He's
if I ask.
He's learning.
Okay, I mean that's a growing concern, is on the troopers especially. They're very bad about identifying
Yeah, I remember that
themselves.
day.
Yeah, and I've met this guy before. I think he's refused to identify himself. You know, but I might have seen him at Starbucks too. You know, I'm really glad you're here. See, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, things can go very bad or very good, right? Like depending on what approach somebody takes, you know. And to come on scene like George did, knowing nothing, and get aggressive like that was, I mean, I could show you the video.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's all learning, brother. It's all learning. Like,
Well,
get that experience under your
if
belt.
we're learning, I mean, you know, if you're actually going to say something to him, you know,
he's-
not to say he did something wrong, because you don't know, you haven't seen it, right? I'm not saying you should judge, but maybe let him know, you know, when somebody's filming, I mean, unless they actually do something, they're not interfering.
As long as you're not interfering with the investigation, you can film away.
Right,
God bless you.
right.
Like,
And I mean, even if I was talking, which I wasn't, but even if I was, that's First Amendment free speech, and that cannot be considered interfering,
it's not interfering.
right? Like even if I was yelling, you know what I mean? And he couldn't hear the guy, right? I could do that, but I wasn't doing that. I would never do that. You know what I mean?
You never do that.
Sergeant
Good to see you
Weston,
again,
I'm
though,
very
Mark.
glad
Haven't
to
seen
see
you
you
in a minute.
again. You should stop in Starbucks and we'll have some better conversations.
Which
you
one
know?
do you go to? This one or that?
Yeah, at Wolf Ranch. I'm there every day, for sure. I give.
I'm usually in doing paperwork. I don't get to be out and play too much anymore.
Oh yeah,
You know how you get these things on your shoulder, you got paperwork to deal with.
yeah. 3 stripes, right? Oh, who was it? Who was it? He had 3 stripes and Ragland.
Raglan. Big
Oh
Red.
my goodness,
Jerry
that guy. He in Starbucks, you know, I asked him about the 3 stripes, you know, what that means. Of course I knew already, and he says sergeant, you know, but I was just trying to make a conversation, and he told me to go have a seat. And he wasn't going to talk to me, and he wouldn't tell me his name, he wouldn't tell me anything, you know, who is.
Raglan's old school. He's like
The
30,
laws
40 years
still
old.
apply, and your policy is still the same for him, you know.
It's hard to get those old timers to realize that they do what they want.
But he's an officer?
He's sergeant.
Oh, he's a sergeant. Yeah, I said that. Yeah. And so obviously he hasn't promoted very much if he's an old timer.
Should be in my passenger seat.
I hope you guys aren't really arresting this guy. He was very
I can't even tell
cooperative.
you what's going on.
You don't?
Pull up.
Well, why are you guys taking over?
No, he's helping him out while he's doing whatever he's doing.
Usually I don't see the PD and the troopers on the same scene. That one time I did see you on the accident. You know, there was a
that
trooper
our
there
accident.
too,
He just
but
happened to pull up.
yeah, that made sense.
Yeah.
But what
They'll
is...
call us if they don't have any backup and they're doing something like he's doing.
Oh, he's
checking.
getting the guy's jacket.
Yeah,
Okay.
like if they're checking someone, we're going to search a vehicle, they'll call for someone else. If they don't have another trooper in the area, we'll just stop
Right.
in.
There's no troopers in the area?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, usually at any time there's maybe two or three in the area, depending on how far down 35 they are. 'Cause they don't get off the freeway too much. So
Right,
You may
right.
have one that's up in Salado, and you may have one in Round Rock.
Uh-huh.
So we just kind of fill in for them when they need a hand. So we do the same thing with county.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, obviously, you guys will help each other out
yeah.
if you need to.
Oh, yeah.
So who's the other guy, the shorter one?
Officer Ernesto. He's one of our.
Oh yeah, Ernesto, right?
Ernesto.
Oh, Ernesto. You know, I met him with Earnshaw, and it's funny because I got both their names wrong in my head. I thought it was Earnshot and Ernesto, but it's Ernesto. Onesto. Onesto.
Like Ernesto without the.
Okay, once I spell it, I've got it. All right, yeah, and I asked them the question. Whenever I see somebody training, you know, I always hit them with the pop quiz, which is 3802. It's very important to me, 3802. Right.
The database.
Well, I mean, it's so cut and dry, and it's okay to say you don't know. I mean, I don't expect you to know every code, but 3802 is the one you all deal with every day, right? Whether you write it down on a piece of paper, which you probably don't, unless somebody's failing to ID, you wouldn't write it down, but yet you're using it in order to gain the authority to order somebody to give you their ID, right?
Gotta be lawful.
Well, and I mean, it's lawful or legal to lie and say that somebody has to give you their ID. That's legal. But nobody said it was a good idea, right? And in the long run, you lose trust. You know, because people later, right, like they get to be my age and they're like, you know how many hundreds of times I've given my ID over for no reason when I was doing nothing wrong and thought that I had to? And then come to find out, what? I didn't have to? And that cop was blowing smoke? You know, and that leads to a lot of resentment, right? And loss of trust. And once you lose trust, then it's very hard to get it back, you know? And I'd say that we're in that situation as a country, you know, where we've kind of lost trust, right, with the government. I mean, we know that it has a purpose, and that we, you know, we need police in some respects, but at the same time, like, we can't ask them a question and know that we're getting a straight answer, you know. And whereas, like, you,
well, you'd like to,
yeah,
you hope you're getting a straight answer. I don't lie to people. I'm a grown man and too old to lie.
Right, but you
no
never know
reason.
what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I say that you're diluting the department, like you and Rayleigh and Lanier. You're actually, and Jolly. You know, and Jolly, I use her as an example a lot because she's on the community engagement, right? And I'm like, wow, you know, she's obviously what the department wants to show. Okay, somebody like her, but she's nothing like the department. When you get pulled over, that's not what you get. You don't get a Jolly. You know, you get an Ernest, yeah, you get a Tejeda or a Raglan, you know, or a Jackson. Jackson's okay. I shouldn't lump Jackson into that, or a Roby.
That's the trooper that was out here with me and you that day.
That was, what is his name?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Oh, he did tell me that was the same one?
Yeah. That's what I laid eyes on him since I got here.
That's funny.
That out here with us
That's funny. That's funny. I knew I had seen him. That's funny. I think he's going to let him go. He's giving him a
maybe
ticket.
Like 2 or 3 troopers that work in district.
Yeah, you know, one good trooper, and I can only say there's one so far, which is really sad, is Merchant. Trooper Merchant. He refused to identify the very first time I saw him, but then he went and looked at his policy, and then I saw him again, and he came up to me and he said, you know, I didn't identify, and I went back and I looked, and I found out that I did need to, that it was my policy, you know. And we've met a couple times, you know, and had some good talks, you know, but that's all you have to do. You know what I mean? It's okay to not know every policy, every code, right?
I don't know every policy. I still have.
Yeah, nobody's going to.
I'm not that bright.
Right? Is the policy, you guys have like a whole book?
Oh, and then some.
I mean, just to get, how thick is the book?
Well, it's not a book. Everything's on computer.
Oh, okay, so there's not a book. You don't like carry a book.
Anymore. We just got database full of policies. And that's policy. We have to identify. You ask us, what's your name? What's your badge number?
Who's your lieutenant? Who's your, you know, all that, right? And the troopers are supposed to actually give certification too, provide that. I don't know if you guys are supposed to do that.
We're not supposed to, but we can.
Or if you're required to, I don't know.
Carry it. If
you do.
We can show it.
Yeah. Do you carry a Constitution? You do? Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is a Kodak moment right here. The Constitution of the United States. So, are you pretty good with it?
try to be good with it.
What's the Fourth Amendment say? Just the first sentence.
Protect against illegal search and seizure.
No, the first sentence. What does it actually say?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know it by verbatim. I just know what they are.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right.
I
Well,
know now I'm not gonna infringe on them. I tell you that much.
well, I guarantee you he's infringing on it right now. The right of the people to be secure in their person. So if the people are in their person must be something other than a people, right? They're not the same. And it says in their person, THEIR. That means ownership. So if you own your person, now the rest of the sentence, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects. Houses, papers, and effects are all things that can be bought and sold, right? And it put person in the same category as houses, papers, and effects. And they're theirs, right? So the people own their person. Okay, so now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the people have the right to be in their person, don't they therefore also have the right not to be in their person? Just like you have the right to speech and you have the right not to make speech? Okay, so I'm not aware of any codes that apply to the people that say none of the people may do this or may do that. They say no person shall do this or shall do that. Right? Now, this is a happy story. All right. Now, I mean, you right now are definitely a person because you're a public servant, right? And you volunteered. But you volunteered to step into your person and to become a person, you know, and that is commendable. But what that did was when you stepped into your person is you put a barrier between you and your rights. Right? I think we talked about this before a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We did.
The first time we met over there, we talked.
Yeah, well, the second time on that ambulance stop where the guy hit the curb. Yeah, but the first time we met was right
first time
here.
We met here, then we talked over there by Popeyes.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I don't know if you followed it then or if you're following me now. But you know, this guy doesn't look like he's in his person. Like, say if you're an immigrant or if you work for the government or if you're doing commerce, you know, then I would definitely say you are a person or you're in your person. But I don't see any reason to believe that he's any of those.
He's been cut loose and he's free to be now.
He is. He got a ticket, I think.
Brother.
No, you've been fabulous.
How often are you up there at
Every day.
I'm gonna stop in and see you.
You should.
I'll have a cup of coffee with you.
Excellent.
It's on me.
Thank you. Oh, I get free coffee. I have my card registered, so it's free refills. All right.
Master by the name of Bates, smoking more than all 50 states combined. Yeah, right, I gotta stay on the grind. I got no money, so my weed's on my mind. I hit the club, but you know I can't dance. 7 and 7 in my cutoff chance. Tie that shirt in my long ass hair. What part of how I look makes you think I care?